What's going on, people? Welcome to another episode of the Six Man Podcast featuring yours truly and the one and only BG Brandon Graham. BG, what up, my man?
Hey, man, I'm blessed, highly favored. Glad to be here. The sun is shining on me. You know, Black History Month is in effect. Everything's good, man. How are you doing?
Can't complain, bro. Can't complain. Life is good. Life is good. Family is healthy. So once that is true, can't complain whatsoever. You know what I'm saying?
All right. So let's get into this, man. This is the Six Man Podcast brought to you by OXP Media. Find us on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you find your listening needs.
We're everywhere.
Everywhere. I see what you're doing, of course, with the Mike Roach podcast, First and 10 podcast. Hey,
yeah,
Jalen Lindo, I love that. Yeah, I love that. Love that interview right there. I like how you're a Stephen A-esque with a lot of these questions, right? Just going in these people. But I wanted to get together today to talk about some, pressing NBA topics as well as some pressing issues within the league as well too, right? But the Toronto Raptors were second last in the Eastern Conference, throughout the first 9 games of the year. Now we're catapulted into the 5th spot in the Eastern Conference. But playing in a game where they actually beat the Philadelphia 76ers, a reporter from the Toronto Star said that at this point in his career, Dwight Howard, who's his perennial all-star, was in the finals, an NBA champion, is more of a thug.
Okay, we're going here first. We're going here.
Okay. We're going here, okay? We're not letting up. We got to go right into it, okay? So with that being said.
Which reporter was this?
Doug
Smith.
Yes. We've been in some
scrums with him. I'm playing like I don't know who it is. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been in some scrums with him, and you especially, to his tweets, as he continued trying to talk about the Raptors basketball after he made his comments. You pretty much said SMDH, shake my damn head, and I can see the Mike Roach shaking it from side to side, being like, "What's wrong with this guy?" So, what was your take on that, especially in Black History Month? How would you react to someone that's a white man calling a racialized man, a black man, a thug in this day and age, especially?
Listen. I'll put it like this. It's funny because when Doug Smith said that, I had some other people who I'm in scrums with who hit me up on text and was like, "Does this guy really just say that?" I was like, "Yeah," and they were like, "What the hell was this guy thinking?" Like, seriously, what the hell was this guy thinking? Yeah. Now, personally, I did not think Doug Smith would ever put out a tweet like that. I expected a bit more from him, which is a little disappointing. Yeah. Am I shocked? No, probably not. Take that however you want to take it. It doesn't shock me whatsoever that he would say something like that. Then again, I don't know him like that. I don't know him at all, by the way. Probably said what up to him once or twice being down at Scotiabank Arena. But, I don't know him like that. All I saw was a dumb tweet that needed to be addressed. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, listen, I don't know if he hit the booze that night or something. I don't know what the hell he was thinking when he wrote that. The tweet was dumb as hell. It needs to be called out for being dumb as hell. Dwight Howard Dwight Howard is at his job. Okay.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. Sure. He was probably playing like a clown. But does that qualify you to be called a thug?
No, not at all.
Does that qualify you to be called a thug? And do we have to talk about all the things that Dwight Howard has done for communities? We're not going to talk about that stuff. I guess not.
Right.
I guess we don't have enough time for that.
No, probably not enough time for that. But I do want to address this, okay? And this is where, people on Twitter are calling for him to resign. He's been there for 20 plus years, the Toronto Star. Probably not going to happen. Probably going to take more than this. And he said some offensive things in the past. I've been in a few scrums with him. Don't really know him at all. Probably Simic, you said what up to him probably a few times. I've seen him in certain conferences and whatnot. But with that being said, a lot of people refer to hockey players that fight a lot as thugs, right? But now in the basketball world, where 90% of the players are racialized, are black players, for him to come out and say this guy is a thug, especially during Black History Month, you're a white person, right? If you come to it, oppressors, white person, saying that about a black guy. Thugs are referred to in a negative connotation or negative way as those that commit crimes, those that, burglaries, whatever it may be, especially, in the black community. For you to call that out, especially during this time where everything is going on with anti-black racism, addressing all this, like, it's super insensitive. And for him to come out later on and say, oh, someone I really respected told me that, this was something I had to delete. When everyone commenting on it, we're racialized people, we're black people, just shows how insensitive it is, and shows you that there needs to be more diversity in Raptors scrums, in Raptors media. The media has to reflect those of the players, man. They have to.
This guy said he heard from one friend, and because he heard from one friend who he respects, he'll take it down. He started to tweet by saying, "Fine, I'll just say it." Like, when you start a tweet like that, you already know you're going down the wrong avenue here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah,
I don't know. Like I said, would I expect better from Doug Smith? Yes, I would think so. But yeah, does it shock me or surprise me? No,
it doesn't surprise you. Well, that's the problem, right? That's the problem with everything going on.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
That's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem.
I'm not saying he's a bad dude. I mean, a lot of the colleagues that I work with for the Raptors, I'm sure, love Doug Smith a lot. I'm sure he's a nice guy. Like I said, I don't really know him, but does it surprise me? Hell no.
And that's exactly why systemic racism is so prevalent right now, right? Because the people are insensitive; they don't already know what to say. But anyway, that's a story for another day. Speaking of the Raptors beating the 76ers in the first of a back-to-back, or a first of a two-game series, seeing the Raptors and their comeback, especially without Kyle, being 17-0 without Kyle, and then 16-1 actually without Kyle, and then seeing the resurgence of Nick Nurse, playing a lot with OG, Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, Norm Powell, and sometimes
they're going small. They're going small.
Yeah, exactly. So how's your take on that lineup and what Nick Nurse has done? And we'll get to Finch very soon. But with that being said, does it not address, and doesn't it mean that we need a big, or that the Raptors need a big immediately?
I mean, depending on the one you can find, you're just not going to go out there and take anyone that's on the market just because there's one there. It has to be one that's going to be effective, going to be efficient, able to play defense, can rebound. I mean, that's asking for a lot, considering this is not the off season, right? At this point in time, you're coming up to the trade deadline. You're coming up to players who are going to be on the buyout market. At this point, you could only do or get or whoever's there. There's not going to be much, right? Like a guy in DeMarcus Cousins, who just gets released from the Houston Rockets.
Yep.
And there's absolutely no talk about him with the Toronto Raptors, right? So clearly they probably want nothing to do with him. Andre Drummond may be on the buyout market, but he also might be getting traded as well. We don't know where that's going to be headed yet. I'm sure something will probably happen soon. It's funny because I keep thinking the trade deadline is like more than a month away, but it's happening really soon.
It's happening literally.
I'm realizing like March is just a couple of days away.
It's literally a few days away. Next week, like on Monday, will be March.
Yeah,
right?
so it's right there. It's right around the corner. So, I mean, at this point, like I said, I don't know who the Raptors expect to get at this point. But I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. They're gonna do.
Yeah, sitting at 16 and 17 right now, 5th in the Eastern Conference. They've beaten teams such as the Pacers were in front of them, the Bucks. They beat them twice. And of course, that was without the likes of Kyle Lowry because of the ankle injury and so on and so forth. The Nets are in second place, and then of course the 76ers are number 1 in the East right now.
But I'll say this. Now let me know this though. To just,
go ahead.
In addition to what you were saying, when it comes to Cousins and Drummond, do you believe that they're going to just head to contending teams like a Brooklyn, a Lakers?
Mm-hmm. I think it's more realistic that Drummond were safe, Webster and Masai actually came together and said, hey, Drummond can actually, it's a buyout. We're buying his contract out. This is pretty much an expiring contract. Pay the money right now just to have him for this time period to see if they can make a run in the playoffs. Drummond may make sense, even though I would say that like Joe, said like Valanciunas is a better player. So on and so forth. There's so many better players than Andre Drummond, but this is the point. People have said, critics have said too, that Andre Drummond can have an 18 and 20 night, 18 points, 20 rebounds, and still have no impact on the game. But with that being said, like you rather have Andre Drummond over a DeMarcus Cousins because of the fact that he can rebound. He's a grinder. He's not really going to take so many low percent of shots. You're going to get him working the system. Nick Nurse has proven to kind of revive these players' careers, and if he's never played on a contended team, so him being on the Raptors may have maybe a good change of scenery for him altogether. But yes, those guys would probably want to go to contending teams. They wouldn't want to go to a team that is win now. DeMarcus Cousins already did it with the Golden State Warriors. Drummond has not done it, so he might want to take that chance as well too. But I think he would have a great opportunity to solidify himself in the lineup. I think Nick Nurse and his staff did a really good job of working with these bigs, making sure that they know all the coverages and that their game just elevates. So between those two, Drummond, but of course they want to go to contending teams. What do you say about that?
I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, you don't need to touch on this for long. I see them going to contending teams, especially when you're only signing there for the remainder of the season. If you're only going to be signing there for the remainder of the season, you might as well try and get a ring while you're at it, right?
Right.
So, yeah, going into contending teams, that wouldn't surprise me one bit.
I remember we talked about this earlier on in the year, right, when we're leading up to the season, but we said, okay, one player that has to be an X factor has to elevate their game. How impressed are you with the likes of OG Anunoby, Norman Powell, Pascal Siakam, how they've responded and kind of, dealt with adversity throughout this year? Are you happy with that lineup? Now you've shown that you can win with this team. Because they're playing well on both ends of the ball.
I'm not impressed with Pascal Siakam per se.
This guy sounds like Kendrick
Perkins.
It's
just the same old with Pascal Siakam. He doesn't look like he's improved on any end of the floor, whether it's offensively or defensively.
Still giving you 30.
Still a really good player. Yeah, sometimes. Yeah. That's not all-star caliber to do it sometimes. And I mean, all-star caliber, you got to be able to do that consistently, hence why he's not going to be in the all-star game this year. But I'm impressed a lot with the way I'm seeing OG and Norman Powell.
Yes.
Norman
definitely.
Powell especially, I think he's actually turned the corner here. Even though sometimes he still has a few bad games. He has bad games, but he's being aggressive. You know what I mean? And there was times last year where you saw him play terribly and he wasn't being aggressive at all. He's just turning the ball over with meaningless dribbles. He's driving into the paint, but he's not really driving into the paint. Like, he's just driving to pass. You don't just drive the lane to pass. Like, you drive to score. If you can find somebody wide open, if they're stopping you and you can create for somebody else, then dish it off. But if you're going to drive the ball, drive to score. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah,
and
definitely.
OG, he's been better offensively.
Yeah.
He's been better offensively. I won't go that far yet.
But turn the court. When he was going up prior to his injury, he was going off, right? He was dropping 30. You saw the game against the Indiana Pacers. Without him in that game, you don't win that game. He was playing. He's playing well.
He's dropped 30 a few times. He's dropped 30 a few times. I'm pretty sure we can count on one hand how many times he's dropped 30.
It's still turning the corner. Still turning the corner.
I mean, listen, he's gotten better. His offensive arsenal has gotten a little bit better. His ball handling is not great, and he needs to improve that to be able to get his way to the rim more consistently. But he's been doing a better job of it. His shooting has never really been an issue. His three-point spot-up shooting has been pretty good. His defense has always been good. He's getting to the basket a little bit more. But if he continues to improve, the main thing is progress. We just have to see progress. We're not asking the guy to be an all-star. We're not asking Norman Powell to be an all-star. We're asking to see progress within your game on the floor. You know what I mean? And those two guys have done that. I don't see that with Pascal Siakam thus far. His game still looks the same to me. His offensive ability looks the same.
I disagree. I disagree.
With which part?
I disagree with this offensive game looks the same. I think before
with Siakam,
Siakam, he's taking a lot more. I have to say it. His game is definitely changing. Listen. The reason why, let me get into it. Hey, let me tell you right now. I'm not going to be Max Teller. I'm going to be Stephen A. But telling you this, Pascal Siakam is taking higher percentage shots. There's a stretch when they're winning games where he was not settling for a 3-point jumper. He was taking the ball to the basket, doing his little spin move if he wants to, but backing up his defender and either spinning, going into lane, almost, a la Kevin Garnett in a sense where he used to really dominate in that paint. But he has changed his game and he has taken the advice from his coaches, and that has been changed. Last year, he was taking too many spot-up jumpers and missing too many. He was hurting the team.
Well, is that against contending teams or to just the average or bad basketball teams in the NBA?
Once again, it's
still
a regular season.
Well, exactly, but would you consider Miami a contending team?
Absolutely.
All right,
sure.
They played Miami last night.
Right.
Let's look at some of the numbers here.
This is the microwave. This is the microwave society.
I'm just saying. I know. No, I'm not going microwave. I'm just saying coincidentally they played a contending team. So let's just see what some of the numbers are. I'm not saying base his season or career off this. I'm just saying.
Right. Once again, he is averaging 35 minutes per game.
Lowry had 24, 7, and 8 for Lowry. Wow. He had a ball game.
Yeah.
24, 4, and 7 for Fred.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good for Fred there.
Yeah,
17 for Powell. That's not bad at all. 14 for Anunoby. 6 rebounds. Okay. Not terrible.
Not terrible. Yeah, not terrible.
11 off the bench. 11 off the bench with 6 rebounds in 18 minutes for Chris Boucher.
11 points? Wow. Okay, well, Chris Boucher. Okay, got it.
Aaron Baines. 7 points. All right, forget all that. Let's just go to who we're talking about here. Siakam.
Yes.
Let's see.
Yes, it's a bad
24
game.
minutes.
5 points, 2 rebounds. 1 for 6.
2 rebounds,
it's a bad
4
game.
assists.
It's a bad
1
game.
for 6 field goal percentage.
This you are the problem with this media, especially doing everything on a one-night basis. Take the full sample size. He has expanded his game. It's one bad game, but his game has improved. I wouldn't say it is improved, but his offensive game is definitely becoming
okay,
more
hold on. Which one is it? You just said it improved. It's not improved. Which one is it?
Listen,
which one is it?
And what I'm going to tell you right now, his decision-making is better. All right? He's distributing the ball a lot better when it comes to it. Think about the stretch where they beat the Milwaukee Bucks twice, all right? Where they beat the likes of the 76ers, all right? Think about that stretch without Kyle Lowry. Him handling the ball at the top of the key as the point guard and doing the pick and pop or pick and roll with Chris Boucher, with Aaron Baines, is tough to guard for any team.
Yeah, I understand.
Obviously, he hasn't done it against Boston. He hasn't done it against, too well against the Sixers, the game plan for it. But I'm telling you, his decision-making is getting better. Obviously, he missed the winner against the Timberwolves, which is a terrible loss. But overall, he has become he's 6'9", he's 6'8", 6'9", really versatile, can shoot. Like he has all that needs to change was his decision-making, and that's what's probably changed.
Listen, I like Siakam. I'm not saying I dislike him. I just don't think he's gotten any better, period.
Okay.
That's
it. All right, and that's it. We'll put it out in the poll and let us know. But Kyle Lowry.
Absolutely.
Right? Kyle Lowry.
That's a good poll question, by the way.
Absolutely. So Kyle Lowry comes back, right? As you said, you mentioned his numbers. I believe he had 24 or 27 or 24. 24 last night.
He had 24.
Shooting the ball well, of course, distributing well. Today comes out there's a report that's saying that he wants, if the Raptors were to deal with him, he'd like to go to the 76ers. All right. But there are a number of teams throughout the league that would love his services at this point in his career. You're Bobby Webster and Masai Ujiri. What are you doing with Kyle Lowry?
Depends what I'm getting back in return. I mean, you might as well try to trade him to Philly and get something back. I don't see him in a Raptors uniform next year. He's probably going to be going to Philly anyway. I mean, how long have we been talking about this guy? If he leaves here, he's probably going to be going to Philadelphia.
Oh, of course. We've been saying this, and Rashard
We've been
Phillips.
saying
Everyone,
this,
we've been saying this for years.
I mean, it's not brain surgery here. I mean, come on. I mean, we get it. You know what I mean? Like, if he can be the point guard? Ben Simmons can go off the ball. They can both handle the ball together, being on the floor at the same time. He's a floor general. He knows how to run an offense. He knows how to run a team, period.
Of course.
He's a champion. Okay. Like Kyle Lowry has what it takes, I believe, to get Philadelphia in the finals. That's what I think.
Yeah. I believe that.
Without him, I don't know if he gets there. I don't know if Philadelphia gets there, but with him, I see them getting to the finals.
They have a point guard. Ben Simmons doesn't have to handle the ball. They're going to be a great team, and Joel Embiid will be set up for success. But what if Bobby Webster, Masai Ujiri were like, hey, you've been here, you've solidified your career, you've revived your career in this city. We've given you all the opportunities. Of course, we haven't surrounded you with a championship caliber team this year, but we got some young boys that can play. So just end your career here. Stay with us. We'll give you whatever kind of money you want. Is that something that's realistic?
You can't give him whatever kind of money he wants at this point.
Because he's 35?
Well, that's a part of it. Listen, I love Kyle Lowry, and if he's here next season, I'm all for it. But you have to explore your options at this point. You're not a championship caliber team from the roster that I see. I'm not completely sold on anybody in the Eastern Conference. I've said that before. If I had to take anyone, I would probably go with Brooklyn. Yep, but I'm still not 100% sold on the Brooklyn Nets.
Lint.
If I had to take anybody, I'll take them. But I still think there's maybe 4 or 5 teams, especially with the season that we're having, that could possibly make it to the finals in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same without the fans. It's not the same. But the Raptors are in 5th place in the East, all right, moving up 16 and 17. The Boston Celtics, right? We're seeing Brad Stevens. A lot of people are saying that he might lose his job very soon.
I thought he was going to be fired today. I still think he might get fired today. But I think he's still such a just a big commodity in the NBA. I don't think he's going to be one of those guys that just unload. How long have I been saying this about Brad Stevens? Have I not been saying this for years? It was like everybody said, "Oh, he's a great coach. He doesn't."
What has he done?
Well, how? Like show me. I'm not saying the guy's not a good coach, but when this guy was just coming into the league, they were talking about this guy like he was the second coming of Phil Jackson or something. Like it's ridiculous. Everybody, he's a great coach. He's a really good coach. He hasn't done anything yet. What are you talking about?
If you take a mid-major team.
Listen, didn't we not have this in a poll question too on Instagram?
Yeah.
People were trying to come at me where everybody was like, look at Luke Walton. He's such a great coach. It's such a great hire for the Lakers. And I was like, how is he a great hire for the Lakers? Everybody's like, what are you talking about? Did you see what he did with Golden State? I was like, I could have done that with Golden State.
Anyone could have done that with Golden State.
What are you talking about? And what is he doing now? What is he doing now, Luke Walton? What is he doing now?
Obviously, he's losing, right? Okay. Just not too well. But with that being said, okay, man. Absolutely. But he took a mid-major team. He took them to the Final Four. He played, they played well 2 years in a row. Had Gordon Hayward. Came to this. He's had a good record.
Listen, what are you talking about here? What are you talking about?
Brad Stevens has.
Listen, that is irrelevant. That is irrelevant. We're talking about the NBA. We're talking about the NBA here.
Absolutely.
We're talking about the NBA. You're going to tell me what
you take a mid-major team to the Final Four 2 years in a row, or take them really far 2 years in a row, you're going to be considered.
You're telling me about what he did in the NCAA.
You're telling me that he had no notoriety. There's nothing he stood on. This guy came out of nowhere.
I'm not saying that. What has he proven in the NBA?
Oh, that his team can go to.
Okay, so you're telling me
that
go
on a run.
Okay, so at the same time, you're telling me
they went to the Eastern Conference Final last year.
Okay, So a dominant high school coach, you would say, can go into
No.
into the NCAA. They'd be like, look how
Probably.
good he was in high school. Look how good he was in high school.
Yes. You can,
Look at
and
him.
you can take a number of different kids,
just dominate
different years.
No, it's different. It's different levels. Bro, haven't you ever listened to Jay? There are levels to this.
There are levels to this. 100%. But you cannot discredit Brad Stevens because he's had successful teams for a number of years and then given teams fits. He hasn't won a championship, all right? They haven't gone too far out east, but they've gone to Eastern Conference Finals a number of years. You're forgetting when LeBron, I believe 3 times. You're forgetting 2 times, 3 times. You're forgetting when LeBron James was on the Cavs. Listen, you're forgetting a lot. You're forgetting a lot. But
okay, listen. Let's talk about all the other coaches who have made it to the second round and the conference finals and have been fired. Do we want to go through that? Because this guy still has a job.
Yeah. And they're struggling. They're struggling, of course, right? But it is one of those years, and who knows? But I think if he were to be fired, he's going to a team immediately. He's not waiting. He's literally going to sit in his couch, get a call from another team, and be right on his way.
And he'll go over there and take L's as well.
Okay. Fred VanVleet, are you surprised he was snubbed from the All-Star team?
Not really. Not really. I mean,
Vucevic.
I think, yeah. I mean, what the hell was that? I mean, listen, I'm not.
Vucevic
is a good player. Vucevic is a good player, but I mean, what are you kidding me?
Exactly. They're 12th place in the East.
I know that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Yeah. Should he have made the All-Star game? Probably. I think so. There's a really good case, I think, for Sabonis as well.
Right.
Trae Young has been playing outstanding as well. It's really close to call. It's really close to call. It's kind of tough. I really like Sabonis' game. I love Domantas Sabonis. I think he's a really, really good player. I think he's averaging like 23 and 11.
Yeah, that was 20. Pascal Siakam's averaging 20.
Pacers will be a playoff team.
Yep, they're fourth in the East right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really close. I think, Fred, he could have made it. He didn't. I do think he'll be an all-star eventually. But I'm not really like too mad at that per se. What about you though?
I think he deserved to be there last year, and I do think the NBA should expand the team to at least like 15 players. I don't know how much they have. Well, just expand the team more because guys deserve it, right? Like Bradley Beal was shunned out of the All-Star game for many years when he was deserving for it, and that was probably even more of a blow. But seeing Fred get the 54 this year, the franchise record, seeing him leading the team in points, they've come. Yes, they're always going to say, "Oh, well, you guys started 2-7 or 2-9, whatever." But now they're on a very big winning streak. They won 14 of the last, whatever it may be. They won a lot of games to get into the point where they were 14th in the East. They were 14th in the East, and then of course catapult up to 5th. And then he has a really big part to do with that. So he deserves. I think out of the Raptors, he's the most deserving. Of course, it's tough in this league, especially with guys like Trae Young and those guys that need to be in the league. You need to be in the game. It's tough, right? It's really, really tough. But I think he will get there one day. But the NBA's got to expand it. That's unacceptable. How is Devin Booker not an All-Star?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Ridiculous. And then gets put in because of Anthony Davis. But it is what it is. Other than that, what's going on in life, man? Like, how are you faring with this pandemic?
Pretty good, BG. I mean, really, it's just working home. My wife is here. The kids are here, so they keep me busy and keep me laughing. But I can't complain.
Okay, you can't complain. I cannot wait to go outside and start rock my mini rock or do something else soon, right? But we'll talk about the Western Conference hopefully next time. Utah Jazz are killing it, but they're the perfect front runners. Yeah, those teams they're gonna be good right now. Yeah, we'll talk about them later.
What about you though? How's life, my friend?
Life's all right, man. Moving to a new place. I'm in Mississauga now, so my first home. So I'm pretty excited about that. But no, life's been pretty good so far. There's a lot going on when it comes to anti-Black racism that I have to be that is deeply affected me, of course, and whatnot.
In what way though?
In school, like seeing how in school every school has a mandate to make sure that they're addressing anti-Black racism. People putting the work on other people, and it can be a lot. It can be a lot, man. It can be exhausting with everything we're seeing, especially with guys like Doug Smith.
How many young black teachers are at your school? You
That's a good question. No, and no school has a lot of them, right? We probably
are you going to different schools right now, or are you in one particular school?
I'm just one school. I'm one school in Brampton.
Okay.
It's just in that one school. So it's tougher now because we don't see the students as much, but we still communicate with them when we can. And there's no sports either, right? So one of the biggest things for me is that I used to connect with students a lot through sports, through extracurriculars. We don't have that. That's like a big part of like why teaching is so sick to me, right? But we don't have that. So I'm just like teaching, come home, teaching home, right? So it's tough. It's tough, and especially with the pandemic going on as well too, and seeing everything that's happening, and it's difficult. Like it's difficult, man. But hey, we're getting through it. We're surviving. That's all that we can be thankful for. Blessed and highly favored, man. Every day. OXP Media,
man, getting through it.
Absolutely. Hey, keep doing your thing with the Mike Roach podcast. We're gonna keep pushing. We got
you too, man. Chris and Ted's popping right now. Keep coming with that content.
Yeah, 100%. And we have some really big news coming up very soon. We have some partnersps that we're about to expose. So that's something that all of our listeners will
Don't
see.
tell them yet, BG.
Very, very
Don't
soon.
tell them yet.
Nah, I won't tell them, man. All right, man. Hey, this is the 6-man podcast. Mike Roach, BG Brandon Graham. We're out. Keep balling.